What's up, e-bikers? Welcome to my rave party. This is the RAEV Bullet GT, and it's next on the channel. Alright, e-bikers, so welcome to RAEV. This is a new e-bike company, and they have 3 miles of this e-bike. The RAEV Bullet, 500 watt with single suspension. The Bullet GT, which is this one here, with a 20 amp hour 48 volt battery there. And the Bullet GTX with 2 batteries, totaling about 28 amp hours of battery life. The second battery just goes down below their first one there, kind of upside down almost. Let's go over the specs on this bad boy. So 750 watt motor, LCD easy read display, 28 miles an hour is the top speed of this one. I think the Bullet GTX goes 31 if you want a faster bike, and that has a 1000 watt motor as well. We're dealing with a 750 here. And the regular Bullet, the entry level Bullet, comes with a 500 watt motor. Not sure why you would get one. I definitely would get the Bullet GT or GTX if you were into bikes of this style. Obviously this is an E-Moped style e-bike. It sits pretty low to the ground. It's kind of a little too short for me. I'm a 6-foot guy, so these bikes are definitely for the shorter crowd out there, in my opinion. If you're tall, you're really going to be your knees are going to be basically in your stomach there if you're tall riding this bike. But let's see what else this thing has. We have Samsung cells in here. These are 21700 cells in there. Again, 48 volt, 20 amp hour. We have 3 levels of assist on this e-bike, not 5, just 3. Comes with a 3 amp fast charger, and they claim about 31 miles with no throttle only riding overall. So depending on how you do that, that's what you get. So the Bullet GT weighs between 82 and 89 pounds. Not sure why they give a range there, but it's probably in the mid 80s. We have hydraulic suspension with 60 millimeter travel up the front there, with lockout and adjustment. Payload capacity is about 330 pounds. We have 42.2 chainring, which is pretty small actually. It's not the greatest pedal experience, combined with 160 millimeter rotors, I believe. Shimano 7-speed. The derailleur is a 14 to 28 tooth. And hydraulic disc brakes, again on 160 millimeter rotors, and the chain is 132 link. Now, the bike brakes do squeak a bit. They did notify me that they put the wrong brake pads in there, so they're sending me ceramic brake pads for this e-bike, so to eliminate that squeaking there. So keep that in mind if you do get one of the early models here. Let's do a little walk around for you. Again, CST 20 by 4 inch tires on this thing. A massive seat, as you can see here. This is basically a motorcycle seat. So it's pretty comfortable to ride. And it's probably the biggest seat I've seen on an e-bike to date at this point. Let me give you a shot in the back here. You can see that rear tail light. There is a reflector there and a brake light. With a nice little kind of mini fender on there. Here's a look at that derailleur and freewheel setup, and the motor, of course. Here's a look at that middle shock. There is some adjustment here. There's a little kind of screw, I guess. You just change that and change the tension of the spring. But this is a pretty unique looking e-bike. It says designed in the USA. Obviously it's made in China. They have a interesting video of their factory in China where they make these, so if you look up RAEV on YouTube you can see that, so check that out. And here's a look at the battery itself. There's the key. It's got the nice claw marks on there for RAEV, and then a shot of the front twin forks there for you. Here's a look at the cockpit. You got these nice faux leather ergonomic grips. Got the thumb throttle, your Shimano shifter. Cable management is pretty good. And here's your control panel here on the side. Just your basic control panel. Again, 3 levels of assist there. and really not too much else in there. There's wattage. There's no voltage though, from what I see. There's a compression ring here. You just turn it to your shocks, and there's preload on the left. One problem I had out of the box was I was missing a screw for the side of the headlight there, but I was able to find another one. I also was missing an axle nut. I had to find one of my own and put that on as well. But so check your bolts when you get this thing in the mail. It may be missing a few screws, but I'm sure they would replace those if you needed them to. Here's a look at the RAEV light at night. Very wide coverage up front there. Gotta love it. The rear tail light is kind of small, but it is. Okay, we're on the RAEV GT. I'm gonna do a little speed test first. The first thing I say about this bike is that it's extremely agile. Look at this. It's low to the ground, and it really inspires confidence. Alright, I got construction going on here. Corners really well. Alright, throttle only. We're on this road here. We're at 23, 25, 26. There's 27, 28.5. Pretty easy. All on the thumb throttle. Nice run there. You know, pedaling this bike is, the chain link is way too small. Your legs just really spin on this thing, so that's why this is basically a throttle e-bike for me. It's also not very comfortable since my legs are basically perpendicular with the ground here. Gotta be, if you're 5'5" and under, this is the perfect e-bike for you, an E-Moped. Let's go do our hill test. This bike is super agile though. Gotta give it credit for that. All right, let's do throttle only up this hill. First part of the hill. Good pickup. We're doing 11 and climbing miles an hour. 11.5. There we go. A moderate hill here to start. Gaining speed, love to see that. Again, 750 watt motor back here. I think it said 75 newton meters of torque, which is kind of low, I thought, but the upgraded model, the GTX, has more torque, I think, with a 1,000 watt motor. All right, we're doing 18. Good hill climber so far. Let's do throttle only up here. I'm not going to pedal at all. This is the steeper part of the hill. All right, we're at 13 going down. We're at 10.5.4. 10.4 with throttle only. That was the lowest. Not bad. So I give it good marks on hill climbing for the RAEV Bullet GT. Let's do a downhill coast, see how we do. All right, so here's my downhill track. My last E-Moped we hit 34 miles an hour coming down this hill. So let's see what the RAEV can do. We're at 24. Already, wow, 29, gotta slow down a bit. There's 31. I lost my hat. 32, 33, 34, 35. Whoa. That was quick. We hit 35. It was still climbing too. I might have hit 36, but I ran out of room. All right, so there's your RAEV Bullet GT, again, 20 amp hour. It used to be called the Bullet Pro, but they kind of changed the name a bit to just the GT, and then the GTX is the higher version, so make sure you keep that in mind. So my likes on this bike, I think the motorcycle styling is one of the top things to mention here. It just looks like a motorcycle almost. You could put a nice bag on top here and kind of give it a gas tank-like appearance almost, with some of those curved bags you can buy offline. The large seat, obviously, a very comfortable ride. I think, and I'm taller, so I sit back here more on that back pad of it. Dual suspension, of course, front and rear. I don't really feel it that much, so it's pretty stiff, I think. I'll have to play with the settings there and see if I can get to lighten up a bit. And then it's just agile and fun to ride. I think that's probably the best thing about this e-bike is its agility. The low center of gravity there, and very fun to ride on the streets, particularly on a nice smooth paved road. Overall, dislikes, I'd say I wish the brake rotors were 180s, not 160s, because it's a heavy e-bike. There is some squeaking involved again, but hopefully they'll be taking care of the ceramic pads for you. For me, I'm tall, so the low seating position is not ideal. This is not a bike I can ride every day, and so I think it's better for people who are, 5'8" and under, basically. That's who I think should ride this in terms of a comfortability standpoint. The display is pretty basic looking. I mean, it would have been nice to see a nice color display right here. That probably would have increased the price though, but I think overall it's a pretty cool looking e-bike, and it's going to appeal to a lot of riders out there who are into e-mopeds and want that kind of look. So the price on this e-bike is $17.99, by the way. I think the GTX is $21.99. So from a value standpoint, I'd say it's a good value, not a great value. $1,800 for a 48 volt 20 amp hour. I mean, you could buy a Kepler for the same price. We get a 52 volt in a regular style e-bike. But if you like these style of e-bikes, and there's a certain demographic I think that do, younger guys, then I think you'll like this RAEV one. It's pretty unique on the market. And yeah, there you go. Any questions, throw them in the comments there. Let me know what you think about the RAEV GT. Does come in, I think, black also, and maybe a yellow color. A couple different color choices on their website. This racing green is really nice. And pretty interesting new e-bike on the market. So there you go, folks. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time on Crisscross.